Hello, my name is Shanita Vasquez. I am the Diversity Outreach and Occupant Protection Program Coordinator for the Louisiana Highway Safety Commission. At the Louisiana Highway Safety Commission, our mission is to reduce traffic-related crashes resulting in serious injuries and fatalities by changing driver behavior. This month is Black History Month, and we are highlighting leaders within our state that reflect the best part of public service and transportation safety. Please let me introduce Chief Michael Kazerooni. Chief Kazerooni, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Chief, can you please state your name, your agency, and your position?
My name is Michael Kazerooni. My position is Chief of Police for the town of Kentwood.
Tell me a little bit about your professional career.
My professional career has spanned 27 years as of now, dealing with all facets of law enforcement, to include instructor training, as well as traffic enforcement. A majority of my career was spent in traffic enforcement and investigation.
Why did you want to be in public service?
Long and short of it is, I was a nursing student at Southern University back in 1995, and I met Carl Dunn, who was a Baton Rouge City policeman at the time, K-9 handler. He's now currently the Baker City Police Chief.
Yes.
And he and I shared a class one year, and he come in, and this is something that always been in the back of my mind, but when he came to the class that evening, he had his uniform on, and I kind of got bit by the bug at that time.
How important is it to have diverse representation in your field?
Well, our field is unique than most any other field that you could be in. Whereas diversity, you got to know where people are coming from in order to know how to proceed.
Yes.
Kind of like you got to walk a mile in that man's shoes. So diversity is needed because of that simple fact that you should know where a person comes from before you pass any kind of judgment or any preconceived notions about that person.
Exactly. So with that, what does transportation safety mean to you?
Well, transportation safety starts, it's so much. It's a huge balloon, if you will. You have, safety being taught at home, before your driving age. Just simply your parents telling you to put your seatbelts on, getting your car seat, appropriately fastening you in your car seat, till you get to driving age where, don't drink and drive, make sound decisions, obey the speed limit. And unfortunately lately it's interactions with law enforcement. That's another important part of traffic safety. And I always tell any group of people that I talk with, we have a system in place, and whether it's perfect or not is not for me to decide, but we do have a system in place. Let the system work. The side of the road is the worst place to argue a traffic citation. Something as simple as a traffic citation. That's not the place to argue. There is a system in place. Let the system work. That's the system that we have.
Correct. And I think it's important for people to also know that transportation is a variety of modes of how to get to and from your place, whether it's walking down the street, riding a bicycle, skateboard, motorcycle,
airplanes, everything.
Everything.
Plenty of modes of transportation.
Correct. So with transportation safety, how important is it to have diverse representation in transportation safety?
Well, again, it goes back to one simple concept. You have to know what this person has been exposed to.
Yes.
And in order for you to know that, you have to have someone experience it yourself. Little differences here and there, but overall, you could relate to a person. You could relate to a person when you understand what their upbringing was. What they were taught, what kind of environment they grew up in, what kind of peer pressure they were pressured with. You have to know and you have to understand that and take that into consideration again before you can pass any preconceived notions about that person.
Exactly. And then also educating or performing outreach, having people from diverse backgrounds can also reach someone that necessarily I couldn't reach because of where I grew up or the things that I've learned, but having someone else that have that relatability, you'll be able to pass the message along as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for instance, the area that I'm from is a rural area of Louisiana, and I mean the I can remember as a child going to the grocery store, going somewhere that my brother and I used to fight for the back dash of the vehicle.
The back
where the
dash.
speakers are.
Yes.
That's where we rode. And, not that it was a horrible upbringing or anything. It's just
Right.
that was the norm at that time.
Correct.
So to see where we have evolved in traffic safety from then to now with kids that are actually overall compliant with seatbelt usage, with child safety usage, that's amazing leaps and bounds that we've taken in the last few years.
So I remember piling into, my aunt's vehicle. It was like 5 or 6 of us in the back seat sitting on laps. And, necessarily back then it wasn't looked poorly upon, or we didn't have the education to know that was not a safe mode of transportation.
Absolutely. I another thing I can remember as a small child, or heck, as a teenager, piling up in the back of a pickup truck to go play baseball or whatever. I mean, that was nothing to have 7, 8 kids on the back of a pickup truck going. Yeah. I mean, those are the best times of our lives. But I mean, at the same time, we just had no idea how much danger we were actually in.
Yes, it's true. So, okay, out of your full career in transportation safety and public service, what positive impact have you seen transportation made in Louisiana?
Well, I mean, there's a few of them. The seatbelt law becoming a primary law,
yes,
where it is a reason, an enforceable act that just on itself. That was one of the big things. I mean, it seems like the seat belts are so often overlooked and underappreciated as far as law enforcement goes. But it's one of the easiest, most vital parts of transportation. I mean, it just above and beyond airbags or any other. Look at it this way: you have airbags in your vehicle. If you're not properly belted, you're not in the correct position to receive the blunt from the airbag. When it deploys. So seat belts are kind of the most important, overlooked, underappreciated part of transportation safety. And all that is to say that the positive that I've seen is that it is being used more, and it's appreciated more now.
Yes.
It's valued more.
It really is, and it's very important also, to let everyone know, every passenger,
Absolutely. Every person in the vehicle
needs to be in their own seat and buckled up properly. Right. Okay. In your opinion, how do you think transportation safety affects the African American community?
Again, it's how you were raised, how you were brought up, what environment you were brought up in. I mean, and in a society that we live in today, it's just the way it is. You were brought up to believe certain beliefs and ideals. Other people were brought up to believe certain beliefs and ideals, and that is passed on down from mother to son, father to daughter, so forth and so on. The education aspect of transportation safety may not have been available, may not have been received well by the African American community, just because. I mean, no particular reason other than just because maybe it wasn't even made available. So that's one of the things that hits it on the head right there. It all comes back to how you were brought up, what you had access to.
Do you think what you do is positively impacting road users in Louisiana?
I would like to think that at the end of the day, aside from any fine or fee, arrest or embarrassment that is put upon a person as a result of my interaction, that that may have been the incident that saved that person's life. And I'm good with that. I'm good with that. You know, none of us, I mean, I wasn't always the police, so I've been stopped before. I've been issued citations before. So I know that feeling. Again, I've been there. No one likes it.
Right.
I mean, it's a hassle. It hits you financially.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, I truly believe that the enforcement actions that we take serve a greater good other than getting a fine or fee or whatever. I think it serves a greater good, and that is safe.
Okay. So tell us, what direction is your agency taking in regards to transportation safety for the future?
Well, the Kentwood Police Department has always had a positive enforcement action when it comes to traffic-related situations. We are a fitting station. We have 2 certified child passenger safety technicians on staff, myself being one of them. We do offer different outreach programs. Like I go to the school and I teach Operation Lifesaver, which is railroad safety. Yes. I teach civilian motorcycle training for civilians to learn how to safely operate motorcycles. There's a lot of things that we do here for awareness and training other than enforcement. Again, if anyone needs any help with a child safety seat or learning how to properly fit it in the vehicle and their child, they can come here pretty much anytime I'm here, and I can help them with that. You know, we just that's our stance. We do plenty of community service as far as that goes with the outreach and transportation safety.
Yeah. So just to clarify for everyone, a fitting station is where someone can come, and if they have questions about if their child is in the proper seat, sitting in the right way, they need help buckling or unbuckling, your agency
installing it in the vehicle, the whole 9. And that's before, during, or after. You know, before you have a child, you can come here and get some suggestions on appropriate seating for that child. After the child is born, and you can bring the child in the seat here. We will do the best that we can to teach you how to properly install it in the vehicle. And that's the biggest problem that I see as a child passenger safety technician, is that the improper installation in vehicles, putting a seat, child safety seat in front of an active airbag, you know, that kind of stuff. Facing forward instead of facing rearward. You know, of course, Louisiana just come out with that revised law where we keeping the kids facing rearward longer now, because that has been shown to be the safest way to transport in a child safety seat. So, you know, that's our outreach. That's what we do.
And that service is provided free of charge.
Yes.
No judgment zone. So, I mean, I go to a fitting station, they can just visit Buckle Up Louisiana on Facebook and they can get that information. Okay. So just to round out our interview, if you can give any words of wisdom or advice, what would it be?
It goes back to integrity. Integrity is doing the right thing even when no one is looking.
Right.
And that so well goes hand in hand with transportation safety. You know, put your seatbelt on because it's the right thing to do, even when the police are not looking. Make sure your child is buckled up in a child safety seat, even when there are no police around. Don't drink and drive, even when the police are not around. Make smart decisions, obey the traffic laws, and you'll make it home safe.
Correct. Those are very good words of wisdom. So, Chief, I just want to thank you so much for participating in highway safety, highlighting leaders that reflect the best part of public service and transportation safety. We value your partnership, and the people of Kentwood, I know, value you doing that outreach and that education for them.
Well, it's my pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.